Make him go buy season tickets. Hello there, Michael. How are you today, pal? How you doing?
I can't believe you got my boy on there. You're showing some love for San Diego Padres.
I want to live in your town or near your town one day, so I said, what the hell? Go ahead.
Good for you. You know, one of the things that, you know, I think in the beginning when he turned the franchise upside down with those ill-advised moves, I'm not sure if that was his undertaking. I think that was maybe he was kind of forced into to make a splash. And, you know, it's great to have these prospects and all that. But what he's going to have to do is show that he can do an Alex Wood trade. You can do a Chris Taylor trade. You could do a Travis Shaw. You got to get a couple of those guys, the Gurriel from Houston. You got to get a couple of those guys for nothing to supplement your team. And also, when it comes down to it, when it's the nitty gritty and you're in it, say 2020, or you're going for it, do you make that move to get the Verlander? Do you want to get the guy that takes you? Well,
that's an ownership. That's an ownership call. Crane made that move for Verlander, but I know what you're saying the other way. You have to be a good GM, finds useful players. Behind rocks. Listen, look at Cashman. He found De Gregorius to play shortstop. He went out there and he found Hicks to play center field.
Right.
I mean, it's not all about getting Stanton and paying him $300 million. It's about getting those kind of guys that can help your team. The good GM, Saban was good at that. The good GM can find that kind of gem who is lost on another franchise. And let's see if AJ can do that. He hasn't done that yet. That's a very good point.
Yeah, and you need the one or two top starters and you got to you have to kind of move them along the system. So by 2020 or 2021, you don't burn them out right now, and you keep it moving, and maybe and good things can happen because he's Preller's really good friends with John Daniels. And Preller's from Long Island too, so. I think he's a lot smarter than what I thought he was in the beginning. Because in the beginning, I was not a fan, and I kind of got turned around with this Hosmer. And the point I was making last time, and you misinterpreted, was I think the Hosmer signing is good because it sets the table. It's almost like a Keith Hernandez, you mentioned it, or Steve Garvey guy that kind of show them the way to kind of lead by example. So I think that, and if it ends up to be a World Series, then that's what it's all about, doing that first parade for San Diego.
Well, how about the buzz in the city since the trade? Have you noticed it?
Yeah, since the signing, yeah. I think that people are excited about the prospects. I think, but I think they have to temper their, 69.5 wins is about right. But I think people are excited, and I don't want to see it to where they get all downed out if they win. It's not about this year, I think next year you're looking at 500. If this year is 70 wins and you see what some of these kids have, that Verducci has Jose Perella as a breakout star, Peter Gammons has Lamet as a breakout star, the pitcher. So those are little diamonds in a rough that we're excited about.
Yeah, San Diego's got a chance on their way back. I'm with you. Tony in California, he's on Mad Dog Unleashed. Tony, good afternoon. It's your turn. How are you today, pal? What do you have for me?
How are you, Chris?
Hello, Tony. Nice to talk. What's on your mind now? Let me hear.
Hey, I just had to compliment you. I'm driving home from work in California, and the interview with that gentleman earlier was incredible.
Jerry Harkness from Loyola. Yes.
It was. I was like, who is this guy? Never heard of him in my whole life. But the interview went down great. So,
well, I mean, there's a guy that he's getting a lot of love right now, Tone, as he should. That program is getting a lot of love right now, as it should. And as a result, you got he's into it. He's sharp. He's in the mid-70s, but he knows exactly what's going on. He's following this team all over the place. It's sort of been a reawakening for Loyola and their history, and he's taking advantage of it. So I can get the guy. Eddie got that spot on, by the way. We can get the spot on. I can ask the questions, but unless he responds, who knows? And today he did, so that was great. John in Ohio, Mad Dog Unleashed. Johnny, good afternoon. How are you today?
I know you're quick, dog. Hey, I just want to say the reason I listen to this show is for interviews like you had with Jerry Harkness. I thought that was unbelievable. I'm totally a history buff. And then you had a caller call in later and said that he was in high school or something, talking about he grew up in that same area.
Yeah, good call. Good call. Al in Chicago.
So Yeah, so, I mean, I pay attention to all those small things that most people just kind of glaze over. I just want to let you know that. And I have to agree. I called Torrey and talked to Danny Cannell. He's all on a high note, because he
Florida State.
said on the Florida State. Yeah, so either way. But I did call and I said the same thing. I watched the first game. I got to get up in the morning. I don't have time to stay up till midnight. And I know you got to be a sports fan, but sometimes it's like, it's a Thursday. Start the games at 3 o'clock when you come on the air, and we can listen. Like, the best part of the year is when you have these games on the week ago, and you had your buddy on there, Wetzel, and you're sitting there listening to the show, and you're watching the games, and you guys are commentating. It's the best thing in the world. I'll talk to you later, Don.
Well, it's a Sweet 16. They don't have 1,000 games. They only got the 4 games in each scenario, so it's a little different now than what it could have been, say, last week with Wenzel, with all the games going on. So, they have to be a little careful. They got these big regions. They want to put fans in the seats, so I don't expect them to play at 1 o'clock in the afternoon local time. So that would make it fun for us, 4 and 7, so you go to bed at 10 o'clock. But starting a Sweet 16 game that late's a problem. There's just no other way around it. I mean, starting Florida State and Gonzaga, I don't know what time exactly that was to start last time. I'm going to say about 10:05, right around that time period. Maybe a little later, 10:15. That's just too late. I mean, I know college basketball is not that long. It's only 40 minutes. It's not a baseball game. So, there is an end in sight eventually. But to me, it's just too late. It's too late. And if the game isn't close, you're going to bail out. And then if you miss a great comeback, you're going to feel bad about it. Like if that Nevada-Cincinnati game was on 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and I never would have seen it, the end, because you would have gone to bed with a 22-point lead. So you almost root, what you almost root for at the late games? You root for blowouts. It's the strangest thing. You almost root for a blowout late in the game if you're in the East Coast, so that way you say, thank God they're up 20, go to bed. It's the strangest thing. You almost don't root for a close game, you root for a blowout. Well, when can the lead get big enough when I can go to sleep? And do you want that with an NCAA tournament? Don't you want to be there for every basket in every game? Sean McManus, the top. Stick with us.